Hey everybody, Joe Vanourney, Chair of the Geek TV. We are here at San Diego Comic-Con 2026 with James Kerfoot from the Save Stargate campaign. Welcome to Comic-Con. For people who may not be aware, tell them what happened with the Stargate show that was in development at Amazon and how it led to the creation of your campaign. What kind of triggered the movement?
Got it. Amazon bought MGM Studios 5 or 6 years ago, bought the IP in large part for Stargate, a couple other shows, James Bond, but in large part for Stargate. And about 6 months ago, a little over 6 months ago, they announced that they were going to bring the show back with some of the original showrunners, Martin Garrow, Brad Wright, Joseph Malozzi. They were going to bring back some of the original writers that we were all ready to see again and all ready to see their stories. And really the big thing was to maintain canon and have the future of Stargate remain in the same universe and the same, we don't want to lose the stories that we grew up with. So anyways, they announced they're coming back. And then about 5 or 6 weeks ago, they through Variety, through can't remember whether it was Variety or Deadline, but they announced that they were cutting the cord on it, and it was a huge shock for a lot of fans. But for me, I've been waiting for I'm the beginning of Gen Z, and I've been waiting over half my life for Stargate to come back. I've been waiting a little over 15 years, and it was a huge shock. I normally. Prior to the cancellation, I would kind of look up Stargate, Amazon Stargate every month or so. And then I just happened to, perfect timing, we're in the right place at the right time. I happened to look up Amazon Stargate the day after it was canceled and just thought, it was shock at first, but then I was like, do we have to take no for an answer? I've been waiting over half my life for this. And it was going to come back with the right writers. Good writers, and so started a GoFundMe. Within three or so days, we had $4.5 grand, and now we're up to almost 20 grand. But that was the impetus, was the cancellation about 5 or 6 weeks ago.
So since you started the campaign, kind of talk about some of the events, some of the things you've been doing to raise awareness leading up to Comic-Con, and then what are some of the things you did here at San Diego Comic-Con to get the word out and kind of raise awareness of your campaign?
Yeah. So we started at the studio. The GoFundMe was originally for an aerial banner to fly over Amazon MGM Studios in Culver City, and we did that. That was the first step. We had 15 or so people there with multiple banners. We had it right under their offices, and that was step one. And then step two was bring the message to America more broadly. And so we went to Times Square. We got 2 digital billboards. We had a bunch of people there too. Then we went international. We went to London, Rotterdam, all on the same weekend. This was about a week ago. We had an event in London, Rotterdam. We brought the same banner that we had in LA, which we had everybody sign before we ended. And we brought that same banner, as it was an 8-foot vinyl banner. We brought that to Times Square, had everybody sign that there too. Brought that to London, everybody signed it there, and just had. It was. We had an event in. I can't name them all because there were so many, but we had an event in London, Rotterdam, Paris, Bordeaux, just so many places the last weekend, and then now we're here at Comic-Con and. We had another aerial banner flyover. We had a couple other events here, and the next step is, may tell you about that later. But and here I've been kind of, a couple of us have been running around. We've got flyers. We made some custom embroidered patches. That's part of what the GoFundMe money has gone towards. Were these custom patches designed by our graphic art team. We've got so many amazing people, so many skilled really, really passionate people on our team. We've got a team of around 15 people that this GoFundMe is helping to support, and our campaign more broadly. But yeah, we had some embroidered patches, stickers. We've been getting the word out, and there are a good amount of people who don't know about the cancellation, didn't even know that they love Stargate, but they didn't even know that it was coming back to begin with. Yeah, and it's important that we do this right, and we help Amazon do it right, because they know that this is their Star Trek, that this is their Star Wars, this is their entry, this is their into the sci-fi world in a way that they don't, with an IP they don't have yet. Stargate is an $800 million IP, and yeah, Star Wars and Star Trek are in the billions, but Amazon knows they bought this for a reason. They know the potential, and we want to help them help us. We want to work with them to build the best possible version of Stargate that everybody loves. We see Star Wars and Star Trek stickers all over the backs of cars. We want the same thing with Stargate. We want what they want. We want this to be an IP that everybody loves, a franchise that really takes the world over.
So I think Amazon's stance, from what I understand, is that they felt that this new version that Martin Garrows was creating is too kind of niche, tailored to the longtime 30-year-old fans that know the lore, that know all the storylines, and they felt like they wanted to kind of put all that aside and start from scratch. Why is it important for the fandom that not be the case, that they don't start from scratch and that they continue the story with Martin Garrow or another showrunner that's familiar with the 30-year-old history of the franchise? Why is it important for you guys to not cast that aside and to continue from there rather than starting over?
So it's important because, well, I think other fandoms know as well what it's like to have the DNA of your franchise ignored. And we know that Brad Wright, Joseph Malozzi, Martin Garrow, these people know Stargate and love Stargate and are nerds like us, and just it is very, I don't know how else to say it besides, you can tell, you can feel it when a show is written without the understanding. A show is written and produced by people who don't know the show. You can feel the lack of heart in it, and that is our biggest fear, is that we end up with a show that wasn't produced with the heart of Stargate. And I felt that with Stargate Origins. It was very hard for me to connect with it, and when they say that it will only appeal to the, I'll get back to that later, but I think it's so important that we have the original writers involved, because yeah, you can just feel it, and I want. You have to capture the existing fan base, right? Before you can, maybe not before, but in addition to expanding your audience into people who don't know Stargate and other sci-fi genre or other sci-fi shows that like Star Trek and Star Wars, bring them into Stargate as well. You have to do that, but you also have to capture your existing fan base, because they are an asset, right? So that is, I think there are some other answers that can add to that. I could give as well, but I think that gives the idea. Yeah.
So the campaign's only been a few weeks old. We know that Amazon has listened to fan bases before, in the case of The Expanse, which was canceled, and Amazon brought it back. In these few weeks that you started, have you gotten any back channel feedback? Heard anything? Has the needle moved at all from what you've heard? I know it's only been a few weeks, so maybe it hasn't. But has there been any movement at all from what you've seen?
Well, Amazon is full of very smart, thoughtful people who like to take their time and like to think things through and be strategic, and that's great. And we have seen some response, but it's been for the most part they've been very quiet, which is, in my opinion, is a good thing. And I think we just need to keep it up, and we'll get so.
So people need to listen. We need to get Amazon to listen. The campaign needs to grow. So if people want to learn more about your campaign, I know there's a hashtag Save Stargate, hashtag Save Stargate. Where can people go besides that hashtag to find out more information about the campaign? How can people help people watching this online? How can they help?
Yes. They can go to savestargate.com. There's the petition, which is where we started with a petition. We're at around 116,000 signatures at this point. So you could sign the petition. You can support the GoFundMe. You can also get on GateWorld, on the GateWorld Discord. There are over 2,000 people on that Discord, all with the same goal. So you could jump on there. And there's also, I should say, this is what we want, is to get to maintain canon, really. And even if we don't have the same writers, that we don't have Martin Garrow and Malozzi, if we don't have them, it's our main goal is to maintain canon and continuity in the stories. And so it's great. We really do want great actors and great writers, but that is our main goal, is to maintain canon. And so there is a broader idea, even if we don't get that, we can expand this to other fan bases, to pull in Star Trek and Star Wars fans too. So we created a nonprofit called the Audience Advocacy Initiative, and that is at audienceadvocacy.org. So the idea there is to begin building bridges, as we're doing with Amazon right now, begin building bridges between the fan bases and the studios and creators. Because there are so many stories that it's clear that they have improved over time due to feedback with the audience. And the direction the industry has moved in the last 10 to 15 years away from audience feedback and away from focus groups and pre-screenings, we believe is part of the reason we're in this situation to begin with. So the goal with that nonprofit is to help build bridges between the fan bases and the studios and get them reconnected and communicating again. Because there are so many shows, like Netflix is a perfect example of a studio that or a company that produces shows, just spits them out, and you cannot get invested in them because they don't build a connection with the audience, or if they do, they kill it off in a season or two. And there's no point to having a Netflix subscription if there's nothing to get invested in. And so we want good stories. We want the same thing Amazon wants. We want the same thing most studios want, of expanding their stories. We want to help them. It's a win-win situation. So the whole idea with that, again, is just to bring back the connection between the fan bases and the studios. And so there's the Stargate campaign. Save Stargate campaign is just the one campaign of this larger project that we believe really the world needs, and we want good stories back, or we have good stories, but we want to maximize the potential. Like there are so many good writers, and it's just if they have good feedback, when you give a speech, you communicate with you watch each audience member and you take feedback from them. It's kind of absurd that you would move away from away from taking feedback in the pursuit of making stories. So that's the goal. Right.
So if you love Stargate, you want to see it come back, you want to continue the canon that's been created for over the past 30 years, check out their campaign, SaveStargate.com, their GoFundMe, hashtag Save Stargate, and check out Cherry the Geek TV for more coverage here at San Diego Comic-Con 2026.